McNair radio show on this Monday night. Glad you can join us up and down the line on the Braves Sports Network, 91.7 WPRL and WPRL.org. Jamario Brooks across the hallway in Studio A controlling the buttons down in Natchez, WMIS WTYJ Fayette Natchez. They've been doing it down there in Southwest Mississippi for over 100 years. And the Open Mic Broadcast Network joining us, Dr. Michael Prince and company. He's a St. Louisan as well. Glad the Open Mic Broadcast Network is a part of the Braves affiliate family. As you know, what a game. What a game the other night. And as a longtime politician once said, what a whopper. That was a whopper of a game. And we're going to talk about it with Braves head football coach Fred McNair. Coach, congratulations and good evening.
Good evening, Charles. And I just want to just say, hey, man, it was a thriller, to be on a battle of competitive football on Saturday, Charles. I thought that Coach Eric Dooley brought in a great experienced football club to the reservation, Charles, and I think that what they did it was phenomenal, man. They were ready to play, and I'm just glad that we were able to respond and the way we did in old-fashioned comeback, and I think our guys handled the situation very well. And in the course of the game, always tell them, adversity will strike, and it did. You get behind 10 and late in the third quarter, and you have to come back. So hats off to the coaching staff and when they game planned this whole situation, man. It was phenomenal. It was a great job by this team, showing the pause and the way they did, and to come back from behind to win this game, Charles, was great.
You told our Cedric Tillman after the game it was like a heavyweight fight.
It was, Charles. It's Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas. I think that both programs put on a great show, man, and both teams was relentless. Bend but don't break, I thought that we fought very hard. We strained ourselves on defense and put together some good offensive plays and to execute a 15-minute last drive, 65 yards. I mean, that was phenomenal, man. That just to show you the character these guys have, and there's no quit in them, man. They played hard and strained themselves this game, Charles, and I can't say enough about these young men where they come out and compete this Saturday.
Well, I'm going to use an old Willie Rat McGowan, longtime baseball coach. After a long, hard game, get on the bus, and he said, tall man, I'm woe out. W-O, not worn, woe out. And I think after that game, there was many a folk that was worn out, woe out after the game. It was just that type of game.
It was, Charles. And let's just say, I know I was strained. It was a tiring, wore out coach of myself, and I know the assistant coaches as well strained themselves the whole game and kind of mixing things in and out and making sure that we did all the right things to put these guys in position to win ball games. And I think as a coaching staff, that's what we're designed to do. Just as long as these young men allow us to coach them the way they're supposed to be coached, Charles. And we talk about it every day. The biggest thing is communicating on the field. And I think that's something that we got to keep stressing to these young men until they realize that communication works. And that's in any relationship. This team have a good relationship with each other, so we have to communicate on the field as well as off the field. So I think that we just have to keep pressing these young men to do the things we need them to do during the course of a football game.
Well, let's start prior to this. I mean, because all the drama, all the storylines, all the questions, my phone was blown up for the last 2 days leading up to the game. Who's going to start? Is it going to be Noah? Is it going to be Felix? And you even said it's probably going to be Felix Harper. But we saw Noah Johnson warming up. Cedric Tillman said, look, there's Noah warming up. And then all of a sudden, that stirred the pot a little bit. Could Noah Johnson play? I mean, so all of that leading up, was there any doubt about Noah Johnson's situation going in?
See, what everybody didn't notice, we had 5 quarterbacks warming up. So, so we had 5 quarterbacks warming up. But, it's something that, as coaches, it's a good problem to have, when you have a backup quarterback to come in and play the way Felix did for the injured Noah Johnson. And, it's a good situation to have. And like I tell the coach, it's a great problem, As coach, we'll monitor the situation and see how things pan out through the course of the week. And when we're ready to let them know who's going to be the starter, we'll let them know. But right now, we're just going in and with an open mind and preparing both of the young men to play. And that's just the way we're going to do it.
All right, so let's get into it here. We'll be taking your calls here in just a little bit. We were up 17-0 in the blink of an eye. And the very first play for the Panthers, they turned it over, and we cashed in. Pringle's 30-yard pass from Harpy. Talk about another player that stepped up. No Rodarius Anderson. Pringle stepped up. Talk about his growth and development.
You know, the biggest thing is, Charles, all these guys have a great talent amongst themselves. The thing is that as coach, we try to bring it out of them during the course of the week in preparation of game day. And I think that Pringle had an exceptional day week of practice, leading up to the game day, and I always tell him a perfect practice makes perfect, so it makes a lot of sense the way he practiced all week and then up until game day and the game he had, with 8 catches, 144 yards and a touchdown. I mean, it's just that he worked that hard through the week, and that's his paycheck on Saturday, Charles, what he's done during the course of that game. And he's a phenomenal athlete, man, and by trade, he's a good kid. Plays very hard. He's trained himself. He's not a very speedy guy, but during the course of games, he can maneuver to get himself open a whole lot, which he did Saturday.
Yeah, so with that touchdown, the Braves went right down the field, 6 plays, 69 yards, 7-0 in a blink of an eye. Prairie View's first play started at the 20-yard line. Jalen Bourne's pass intercepted by Cole. So then the Braves took advantage of that. They got the football at the 31-yard line, and then Trey Turner with a 3-yard run. Trey Turner getting quite a bit of carries as Waller got some carries, but then you saw him in street clothes during the course of the game. We'll talk about that a little bit. 14-0 at that point, and then Morton's pass is intercepted by Kinsler in the end zone. As the Panthers, they were able to move the ball, Coach. 508 yards of total offense. They started at their 10, and they got to the Braves' 7-yard line. Talk about that pick by Kinsler in the end zone.
It was great to see it. I think that what Coach starting to do well is put these guys in position to make plays. Even the pick that Cole had, he right there on the play. That's one thing that the defensive staff does a great job of putting these guys in position to be successful. And I think that's part of it, what this coaching staff does so well, is putting guys in place to make plays. And Kinsler with that pick right there, the tight end was there, but he seemed to get the upper hand on him and pick that ball off right there, Charles, with a little overthrow.
Shows you Prairie View's offense. They scored 41 points and had 4 turnovers. Turnovers are opportunities. Turnovers are chances. So we were very fortunate to win the game. That's for sure. So after that turnover, McCullough's field goal made it 17-0, Coach. And that was the end of the first quarter. A fast start, 120 yards of throwing the football, 49 yards, 169 yards of total offense, Coach, in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's good to see that, Charles. We always talk about getting off to a fast start, but we still have to maintain. We still have to finish what we started, and love to keep that going. With the scoring and the defensive play they did in the first quarter. You always seem to want to maintain that edge that you have going into the second quarter as well. And we kind of fell short of some things that we normally do, and we gave up some touchdowns there in the second quarter. Get this thing close at halftime.
12 minutes after 6 o'clock. Let's go to the phone lines. Marquise joining us. Good evening, Marquise. How you doing? Marquise, are you there? Oh, we lost Marquise. Call back, Marquise. We'll get you on. Well, take us to a break. We'll take a timeout here. 12 minutes after 6 o'clock. We'll look at the second quarter. We'll talk all about the scoring. Great game. 601-877-6595, 601-877-6595. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this on the Braves Sports Radio Network radio show. Glad you could join us here 14 minutes after 6 o'clock. Calling all faithful alumni. We need every alum to be in Jackson, the state capitol, Tuesday, February the 4th, 2020 at 8 a.m. for the annual Purple and Gold Day at the Capitol. All corps need your support for full funding of our legislative agenda in the 2020 Mississippi legislative session. Save the date, Tuesday, February 4th, 2020, to join fellow alums at the Mississippi State Capitol in Jackson for a Purple and Gold Day. A bunch of purple and gold in the stadium. this past Saturday. All right, Coach, it was 17-0. It looked easy. It seemed easy, but you know Prairie can score, and boy, did they do it in a hurry. 17-0 at the end of the first quarter, and in the second, Tony Mullins, 66-yard pass from Jalen Morton. 2 minutes into the second quarter, and just like that, the Panthers were on the board.
Yeah, Charles, we knew coming into this game that they had a very potent offense, and I think what Coach Dooley did with those guys over there is phenomenal, man. And we knew they scored a lot of points, and we knew we had to score points, and that was the thing that we had talked about going into this game. We got to make sure we capitalize on every opportunity that we have, because we know they could score a lot of points. But it all worked out to where we was able to score 45 and they hold them to 41.
So it was 17-7, then we went 3 and out. Then the Panthers got the ball with 11:21 left in the second quarter. They went 68 yards. They went right down the field as Morton hit Kiljuan for the touchdown. It was 17-13, and the PAT no good. So they went 75 and 68 yards, and then the Panthers came right back with another touchdown as the Braves' next drive with 8:32 left got a punt blocked, and the Panthers took over at our 2-yard line. Talk about what didn't happen on that blocking situation.
Well, first of all, we didn't protect it the way we should have. We let some leakage go through with the shield, and that can't happen. So we got to fix that as of now. That's one thing we have to fix, and that can't happen that way. I think some of the guys are releasing too soon, trying to get down the field, but we just got to maintain and hold up a little bit longer before we release those guys on those shields, and they got there too fast on the shield and split it.
So he went 75 and 68 yards, and what we give them this drive starting at the 1-yard line and Tucker's touchdown. So they scored 19 points for McNair, just like that, 19 points in an 8-minute, 4-minute span, and we were down 19-17.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a test now, so it's a test of what we're made of as a program. Can we come back? Can we fight? Can we dig our way out of this hole we're in? So I think that the guy was up for the task and just coming back after halftime and see what they're made of.
But late in the first half, just when the Panthers had kind of seized the momentum, late in the first half, McCullough's 41-yard punt, Tony Mullins bobbled it, fumbled it, and we recovered at the Panther 5-yard line. How big was that? You look at this game, you look back on it, how big was that? Because the Panthers clearly had the old momentum, and you just wonder, you see so many players now with fair catching stuff, and you're just surprised to see Mullins try to catch it with all the traffic around him, and he fumbled it.
Yeah, that was a good job of Wells putting his hat on the ball, and good jobs of Charles Pringle picking it up and trying to score. It was a catch, so it wasn't a muff. A muff you can't advance. So yeah. He did have control and fumbled it, so that way we was able to advance the fumble to the 5-yard line.
So we were able to score on that. Felix Harper's 5-yard run, and it was 24-19, Coach. So back and forth, it was 17-0, 19-17, 24-19, and you got the sense of what type of game we were going to have.
It was going to be a seesaw battle, Charles. I mean, like I told Cedric at the end of the game, man, we were going to have the ball last, as far as offensive-wise. And so we had the ball and we scored on the last possession. So it was one of those games, Charles. It was a seesaw battle all night. So it was a good test for us.
We were up despite the second quarter. The Panthers outgained the Braves 144-46, and yet we were up at the break. So we'll take a time out here. We'll look at the third quarter as well as the fourth. We'll be taking your calls and texts and tweets, 601-877-6595. You can text a question, 601-348-7254. You can tweet a question. I'm on Twitter, Tall Man Radio. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this 1-minute timeout. We'll hear from Vincent Dancy later, the coach of Mississippi Valley. His team very well could be 3-0, but they lost to Bethune-Cookman. The second quarter did them in, and their offense kind of bogged down. So we'll talk all about it when we come back after this 1-minute timeout here on the Alcorn Football Radio Network. Radio shows. We look at the third quarter, Coach. The Panthers got the football at their 25-yard line. They got to the Braves 37. But Jalen Morton's pass intercepted by Cole. Cole had a pretty good game on Saturday.
He did. Cole is a very heady-up ball player. I like his style at the safety position. I think Coach Cass does a great job with those guys in the secondary on that back half back there, getting those guys ready to play. So, he's extremely worked hard in the week, and like I said, all of them cashing in on Saturday. So, a great game by Cole.
Of course, they tested our secondary, but we did lose a player, Kensler, due to disqualification on the targeting. Talk a little bit about that. I was looking at it. I had the ESPN feed upstairs. It was close. I thought maybe he caught the shoulder. What was the explanation you were given?
Well, it was completely there's something that they changed this year as far as what they're going to do with the targeting rule. It won't be nothing that stands. It'll be confirmed that it was targeting. It'll be targeting or not. So I think when they came to the conclusion that they saw that it was targeting. So it was one of those things that, simultaneously I thought he did turn his shoulder, but
yeah,
they ruled it as a target. So we have to live with it. And the good thing about that, it happened in the first quarter. The first half, so he won't have to sit out this game because he sit out the second half of that game. So that's the way the rule is right now, where we stand with him. So he'll be able to play starting off the game Saturday.
So we talked about that a little bit, and you talk about Cole, but then Trey Turner put it on the ground, and the Panthers got the football off the Braves 24, and you look at it there, Coach, the Panthers grabbed the lead, and then the two-point conversion. So we got the turnover, another, but then we put it on the ground, and they cash in. A team like Prairie View that can stretch the field, you can't give them a short field.
No, we can't do it. We can't turn the ball over, and these guys know it, and Taylor knows best. And it was a good play by the defensive end. We were supposed to have him cut off, but he made the play simultaneous to the quarterback handing it off. So we know we can't put it on the ground and give him a short field there.
Well, the Panthers led 27-24, and then they went up 34-24. Jalen Morton's pass to Jordan Jones, big tight end, Jordan Jones. He's kind of looks like Tony Gonzalez. The way he was catching it, hard to bring down, and he got away from us there a little bit, an 18-yard pass.
Yeah, he was a good-looking tight end, Charles. He's a tight end prototype, man. And they have some good-looking kids over there. Like I said, they was a good football team to play, Charles. And, I think, like I said, Dooley, he's done an outstanding job with that program. It was really good.
So 6.5 left in the third quarter, Coach. We're down 10 after being up 5. Talk a little bit about, the mindset at this point, because the Panthers had a 10-point lead. I think we needed to score, and we did to kind of get ourselves back in it. But the Panthers, for the second, maybe the third time in the game, had a lot of mojo going.
Well, Charles, strictly the mindset of these young men that we have, Charles, and they don't ever think they're out of a game. That's the biggest thing. Everything is positive with these young men. And, they got a positive attitude. It's not 1 minute when we was down by 10, nobody dropped their head and thought the game was over with. All the guys were still up and upbeat, and they knew just as long as there was time on the clock, we had a chance. Just because of some of the things we did in the first half, moving the ball consistently down the field and scoring. So, time on the clock, them guys knew we had a chance. The defense come up and with some stops there and gave us a chance to win the ball game there.
So we were down 10, but we responded. The very next drive, after being down 34-24, 6:31 left in the third quarter, we started at our 25-yard line, went 75 yards. Nico Duffy's 7-yard run and made it a 34-31 ball game at the end of the third quarter. So you talk about that, Coach, just how we were able to respond right back. Talk a little bit about Prairie View's defense. We know offensively, they're all over the place. But defensively, what were some of the things that you were able to kind of expose and take advantage of?
Trayshawn Smith on defense, Charles, and little DeJuan Tucker on the offense. That's what I saw when I went to sleep Saturday night. Those two guys, because they gave us fits. Defensive tackle from Prairie View, he was a real good player. He was a lot of energy, man. And Tucker, he's small in stature, but that guy got a big heart, man. And he ran the ball well and did the things he needed to do. And Trayshawn Smith, man, he played very hard on defense for Prairie View. Those two guys really stood out for Prairie View. Man, I tell you, they was great players. But at the same time, we had to know we had to do some stuff to make sure that we executing as well as we did in the second half, and just go back to what we did so well in the first half.
It was a 10-point game, and the Braves responded. It was a 34-31 game at the end of the third quarter. I think we have Marquise back on the phone line. Good evening, Marquise. How you doing?
How you doing, John?
Oh, good. How are you?
How you doing, Coach?
What's up, Marquise?
Yeah, man. I was down there on the field, man. I hope I was going to be down on the field. So I met with the big son named McNair. You got two sons?
Yeah, I got one nephew and one son.
Yeah, we had to the big ups, man.
Awesome.
I was down on the field. And, I won the meeting, man, because I was down there.
Okay, maybe you'll get a chance on the next time, man. We'll get a chance to talk.
Yeah, because I know, y'all showed who they came out of, man.
Yeah, it was tough, man. It was a tough battle. You know, the guys trained themselves and they able to get it at the end, man. That was a nail biter.
Yeah, I know, because they doing our, we doing our shit, you know,
Oh, all right, Marquise. Thank you very much for the call right there. It was speaking of something along those lines, there was a lot of penalties, Coach, and even in the NFL this weekend, just watching the game, the Rams and Cleveland, my Rams, it was a good weekend for me. The Braves won, first of all. My Cardinals clinched a playoff spot in baseball, and my L.A. Rams, formerly the St. Louis Rams, are undefeated as they beat Cleveland last night. But all what you're hearing, even in the NFL, a lot of penalties.
Yeah, I told you, Charles, I listened to the commentators in one game. I think it may have been the last week. I listened to a game, and the commentator said, he said, really, you can call holding on every play.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it is. So, I mean, I thought the guys, they did a fair job, and they did a great job. I didn't complain about no penalty because I know we did it. You know, it's different when you get penalty thrown on you and you're not sure that it happened or not. But just looking at it, the penalty that was called, I think they was pretty even. I mean, it was 12 penalties for them and 10 for us. They had 123 yards in penalty. We had 100. So I thought it was an even called ball game. I can handle those situations like that. It's not lopsided where we have 10 and they have 1. You know, so I thought the officials did a great job of controlling the ball game the way it should be played.
We're going to get back more into the penalties because that's obviously it's kind of an old, worn-out question. Every coach gets asked about penalties, and it's kind of a tough answer. I know you try to work through it in practice every day. We'll take a break here as we're approaching the bottom of the hour. We'll take a 1-minute break. We'll be right back with the exciting fourth quarter. We'll look at this game, get to all the texts and tweets, and we'll preview Mississippi Valley State University as the Delta Devils come to town. It's a 6 o'clock kick. We're back on the 6 o'clock tip. And it's going to be another warm evening at Jack Spink Stadium, so dress appropriately. We'll be back after this 1-minute timeout, halfway through the Fred McNair Radio Show. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Alcorn Football Radio Network. Halfway through the Fred McNair Radio Show, we'll look at the fourth quarter in a moment, but just want to remind you, Alcorn needs your support now more than ever. Show your Alcorn pride. Support our champions and scholars all year long through the Always Alcorn Annual Fund. Make your gift today. Help us continue fielding leaders for the future. Call 601-877-6296 at 601-877-6296 or go to their website, alcorn.edu/foundation. Speaking of foundation, Coach, the Braves had a pretty good foundation going into the fourth quarter. We're down 10, and next thing you know, we are up 4 going in. As we're looking at the fourth quarter, Nico Duffy's 6-yard run made it 38-34. The Braves grabbed the lead, but then the Panthers came right back. And Wanya Tucker's 12-yard run made it 41-38. At that point, Panthers got the football with 9:31 left. On 3rd and 6 from the Braves 49, maybe another huge play defensively. Jalen Morton sacked for an 11-yard loss. Solomon Muhammad, who had, 18 tackles in the game? Huge play right there. It
was, Charles, and that's the thing that Solomon is capable of doing, you know, playing his game the way he played. And I was so excited that Coach Thornton, when he told me this morning, hey, Solomon played an A game, you know, with 15 tackles and three assists, and that's 18 tackles. I mean, 1 sack, and that sack was really big. that's the kind of that's the stuff here capable of doing. Solomon is a great player, phenomenal athlete. He just got to come every week and prepare as he did this week and play the way he played Saturday.
Now the 3rd and 6, so that really changed the dynamics of what Prairie was going to do. A 25-yard punt also helped us out. So now we get the ball with 5 minutes and 20 seconds left. Coach, we got it at our own 35-yard line. 2nd and 15. We had an 11-yard pass to Tim McNair Jr. on a 3rd and 4. We were called for holding, but then Felix Harper's pass to Pringle. That's another huge play. On that play, Coach, Felix Harper shedded a tackler and avoided a sack. And was looking at the replay. His knee almost went down before he got the ball out of his hands, but he just got it out, and he was able to complete a pass to avoid a sack. And that set up a situation which we picked up a first down to keep that drive alive.
It was good. I mean, he's an athletic kid too, Charles. He does a real good job of trying to keep his eyes downfield and very strong on the lower part. But he just does a great job of moving around and getting the ball out of his hand.
We had a 4th and 4. Coach, talk about the play. Felix Harper to Blair for 13 yards.
That was a great play. Great call by Coach Radden. Just doing the things we normally do during the course of the week. Making sure that we. Dot our I's and cross our T's, a great play call, and Felix was able to step up and make the throw right there.
So we got to the Panthers 3 on 3rd down and 1. Felix Harper to Tim McNair Jr. Talk about that play. It was so wide open.
Well, this is a rub route charge that we run. I mean, they run it every day in practice, something we work on. Great call again by Coach Radden and my offensive staff, and just getting in position to make that call down there on the goal line. So Felix was able to roll out and find Tim McNair in the end zone, the back in the end zone.
So the Braves had the 4-point lead. Prairie View had it at the 25, but then we were called for an unsportsmanlike. You give a dynamic team even a shorter field. They had it at the 25, and now they get it at the 40.
Yeah, that's something they know we can't do, and that was on I believe it was Heron that headbutted one of the players on the sideline after the play was over. Whether it was intentional or not, he can't do that because officials are watching and stuff like that. So I understand what the official saw, and he made the call, so we live with it and don't want to give him that extra 15 yards charge. There's 40 seconds left, and that's one thing that we can't give them.
So they got at the 40-yard line. Morton's pass complete to Wallace for 10. They had it at midfield. Tony Mullins, a 7-yard reception, and then 2 incompletions, and then time ran out. Pass incomplete for Wallace. They were trying the hook and ladder at the end, and the Braves hang on and win a thriller. And I called it a video game. I hadn't played video games in decades, Coach, but it was like a video game, back and forth, and you needed some medicine to calm you down after that one, because that's one that stays in your system for a good day or two. I'm sure a lot of people are still talking about it.
Yeah, I'm quite sure too, Charles, but this is one that we can put on the shelf and rest up for a while and try to get ready for a good Mississippi Valley Delta Devil team that's going to come in on Saturday. At the same time, Charles, I think Coach Dancy is doing a great job, that group of guys up there, and what we've seen on film so far, they're pretty good group of guys that really get after you pretty good. So we're excited about this week of practice preparation. We've got to be very sound in what we do.
We're going to get into Valley in just a little bit. Kermit's on the line, joining us from Dallas. Good evening, Kermit.
Hey, good evening, Charles. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Congratulations, Coach. Big win.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Question I have for you, Coach. Since you won your first WAC championship in 2014, and, for the last 40 you won, it was in my opinion, it was pretty clear that was a talent gap, that all coaches had on the other teams. And so, Coach, I want to ask, if you look right now, that I guess you're the one being hunted now. Everybody from Southern, and you look at the Prairie View roster, you look at it. I mean, they're bringing in 10, 12, D1 recruits every year. So my question is, Coach, and you do it the right way, in my opinion. You go out and recruit kids on there. You try to get the best kids you can. So my question is, how do we continue to fight that battle, that the other coaches are doing now, to try to beat you? And the next thing I want to ask you is, that punch that was thrown by number 9, are those things reviewed at, during the week to see whether or not that player should be ejected for the next game? And I'll shut up and listen.
Yeah, the thing about the recruiting part, Kermit, that we as a staff, we know what we have to bring in to make this program work. And the biggest thing is about those D1 transfers. You know, you love to have some, but not too many, because that can get you in trouble as well with your APR deal too, Charles. You have to be very mindful of those guys coming in. They coming in just for 1 year, perhaps, those especially those grad transfers, and it continue to hurt you academic-wise. But, you know, you love to have a couple of good guys that come in and help your program out, and even when you still have to be able to get them in school as well, too. You know, some of them graduate, and maybe the grad program they're trying to get in, they don't fit the GPA is not high enough to get into that grad program. But, you know, it's something that we love to have, you know, a couple grad transfers, especially in December, when you reach out to those guys that's in the transfer portal and they're able to come to your program and help you out, you know, and those kind of things. But we've been fortunate enough to get a couple of them in, Kermit, to be able to help us out during the course of our season, and also help them as well to extend their academic and their play, hopefully get drafted or get seen by the NFL teams and all that. But, you know, the other hand, we don't have as many. You know, we try to get some, but we just can't get them in school with the grad program, things of that nature. You have to do a transcript. We have to reevaluate the transcript, and some of the classes that they've taken maybe won't transfer to Alcorn. But, you know, we have to look at all those angles and what we try to do with those grad transfers. And the other question was about the number 9 that threw the punch. Yes, I thought it should have been a flag on that play, but they didn't throw it, so we have to acknowledge that. But the kid did throw a punch, and I thought one of the referees was there to see it. Should have been a flag, at least for a personal foul on sportsmanlike conduct. So we didn't get that call, but, you know, like I said, unfortunate enough, you know, I thought it was called pretty evenly, the way the penalty was spread it out there. But those calls like that, you know, we got into a situation with Prairie View last year like that. We almost got 2 guys thrown out of the game last year that way up in Prairie View for that same stuff, and just the stuff that some of them see and some of them don't, Kermit. But, you know, as a football coach, you live to see the next play. So I thought that the guys responded very well. They didn't get themselves thrown out, because normally they get the second guy,
yeah,
you know, for throwing the punches and stuff like that. But our guys kept their cool and play the game the way it's supposed to be played. Play between lines. You got a chance every time to get them back, you know, legally, you know, on the field. So we make that approach as coaches. We try to teach our guys the right way and play the game the right way.
Kermit, we appreciate you calling in there. As we look at the final numbers, Coach, of course, 45-41. The game featured 913 yards of total offense. The Panthers ran 81 plays. The Braves 77. The Panthers had 508 yards of offense. The Braves 405. Coach, talk a little bit about the running game. Last week against McNair, we averaged 3.3 yards per rushing attempt, 40 carries, 125 yards. Didn't have a 100-yard rusher, Nico Duffy, with 86 yards, so we averaged a little over 3 yards per rushing attempt there. Waller obviously had just 2 carries. You saw him, he was in street clothes for the most part. Talk about Waller's status going forward here.
Well, I think he's going to be all right. He's still nursing this injury, but it was good to see him go in and play a couple plays to at least see what he can do. But the running game is there. We have to play. We have to call the game the way we see it sometimes, Charles. And a lot of times, you know, we have to throw the ball a little bit more. On some occasions, we will run the ball more. But I thought to see fit, I think Coach Ratner called a pretty decent ball game. To what we had to work with on the field. You know, we didn't play that many offensive linemen this time. So our guys are getting better, getting in shape more. And so that's the thing that we look at too, going on down the line, and is our depth and what we have to play with. So I thought it was pretty decent what we did during the course of that ball game.
And of course, the big story: Felix Harper, 25 of 37 for 280 yards, sacked 3 times, a couple of touchdowns. He just hung in there, Coach. I mean, you know, I thought he was really, really solid. I mean, no interceptions. He really settled in nicely, and I thought we did a good job in getting him comfortable early in the game.
great week of preparation, Charles. That cures a lot of stuff sometimes when you go out and work hard through the week, you know, and prepare yourself to play the way he have over this course of this week. And did an outstanding job, you know. And my hats off to that young man. And he deserved that. I mean, he deserved every bit he got. He played very well. He strained himself and made the right throws, made the right reads, and did everything right. You know, did everything we asked him to do as a football player. So it was good to see him play as well as he did. You know, got a chance to visit with his mom and dad afterwards, and you know they were so thankful of just giving them an opportunity not to play football, just to come to school here. You know, that's one of the biggest things that we always talk about to the young men, and the parents really appreciate that, the opportunity to give the kid to further their education. Charles.
On the receiving category, Pringle, we talked about him at the top, 8 receptions for 144 yards to lead the Braves. Chris Blair, 4 receptions for 70 yards. I thought it was one play in which Felix just kind of dropped it in the basket. Nice over-the-shoulder catch by Chris Blair, so his presence was felt in the game.
Oh, Chris Blair, he's going to be a phenomenal player for us too, Charles, this year. He's a senior, and we're going to try to send him out in style, man. But this guy, he's a receiver. He's built that way. And these guys are getting their legs back and coming of age and doing all things the right way to make plays now.
On the defensive side, we talked about it. Solomon Muhammad, 18 tackles in the game. DeJuan Taylor with 11. I can't remember a player with 18 tackles in one game, Coach. That's a rarity, isn't it? That's
pretty good, Charles. That's really getting after it. That's doing all the things right, you know, tackling, fitting it, and DeJuan Taylor is always an exceptional player. Coach really loved this guy in the secondary. You know, he can play nickel, he can play safety. So this one of the guys is a premier player for us, Charles. Came in the spring, balled out in the spring. I'm talking about one-on-ones, covering guys. So he's a phenomenal player for us.
All right, so we'll take a break here. We'll get to the Twitter feed and the text line. You can send us a text, 601-348-7254. You can tweet a question, Tall Man Radio. You can give us a call, 601-877-6595. We appreciate Hermit and Kermit chiming in, as well as Marquise. I know Kermit's going to get on me about that, but Kermit, we appreciate it, as well as Marquise. We'll take a break. We'll be right back after this here on the Braves Sports Network. McNair Radio Show. The time is 45 minutes after the hour. Bunch of texts and tweets, Coach. You get that when you win, especially in exciting games. Let's get right to it. Edgar Grayer tweets, and of course we'll be talking about it during the course of the week with the injuries. Will any of the injured D-line players make it for the next game against Valley?
Well, I mean, I wish I was the magician, Charles. I wish I could wave my magic wand over all of them. But I'm going to leave that up to Jaleesa Holland. She normally give me an injury report by the end of the day and let me know the outcome of those guys with their injuries and what their status is.
Yeah, Mr. T kind of chimed in on the back end of that. As a team, if you had to put a percentage, how healthy are we percentage-wise?
I hate to put a percentage on that, Charles. So I'm gonna say I don't know. I can't answer that one. I can answer, but I refuse to say so. I don't want to jinx myself there, Charles. So
we'll just have to continue to get healthy and continue to work there. Alexis Smith chimes in. Great game. Very impressed by Felix's play, and the offensive play calling was much better. How do you keep this consistency offensively moving forward?
Just continue to work hard during the course of the week and get these guys to understand the whole concept of things, what we're doing offensively, and as well as defensively too. I mean, Coach Thornton put together a good game plan, and we have to go out there and execute it the right way, which he put it together.
You know, we talked about, Solomon Muhammad, 18 tackles, DeJuan Taylor, and Burks with 8 tackles. So he's really coming along in that secondary.
Yes, Burks is doing good. You just got to keep continuously improve and doing all the things the right way. That's the biggest thing, that we have to do it the right way. We have to communicate better and make sure we're getting the job done out there.
A game like this, Coach, really can go a long way towards confidence. A game where Robbie Climents, our media relations director, told me after the game there were 11 lead changes in the game. 11. It's like a basketball game.
That's something that, Charles. You got 11 lead changes in a football game.
All right, so from the text line, We'll talk about Valley. What do you expect from the Delta Devils? Another Texas coming in, doesn't have the name. Very proud of, you see, from JJ. Mr. Jackson, he texted me the other day about that, and just a good win, an impressive win. Another tweets come in. Congrats, Coach. Great win. Most heart-stopping game since Grambling back in 2015. Could you speak on Pringle's breakout game just a little bit more and talk about how he's really moved up on the depth charts?
Well, he's always been inserted in the depth chart and what he's been doing, whatever personnel that we're in, whether it's 11 or 10 personnel, he comes in 10 personnel and does a great job for us. And Pringle, like I said, he's practiced hard all week, and he prepared himself for this game. So hopefully he'll continue to work hard and continue to do the things the right way and get himself ready for this game coming up against Valley.
DQ also says he seems like they have a pretty good connection with Felix Harper. Are you looking at utilizing him more on punt and kickoff return duties, talking about Pringle?
Well, yes, Pringle's he's a great athlete, Charles. He played soccer in high school, so you have to do a lot of running in soccer. But he's a great athlete, man. He does everything well, like I said, for sure. We have looked at him as one of the things that when Javen went down, we looking for the next guy to catch punts, and he was the next guy up. So it's all about being the next guy in line and getting the job done as he's done over the course of the week.
Black from Macon, Georgia, texts a question. Coach, with so many young players that played on Saturday, what does this type of win, it's a good question, what type of this win, what type of character a game like this pulls out of a team when it's 11 lead changes, as we talked about, back and forth, and we found a way. What does that say about the character of this team?
The biggest thing is the best experience is game experience. So you can't teach that. So you can't teach experience, Charles. You have to let them play it out. And for what the young man did this past Saturday, Charles, was phenomenal to be able to fight. And there's a lot of young guys we played, and during the course of the game, we're looking for depth, and these guys got some experience in a good football game against Prairie View. So we'll be looking for these guys. We'll be calling upon these guys and the rest of the season to play the way they played this past Saturday.
And a final question, kind of a tongue-in-cheek text about Corey McCullough making a field goal. He's had his struggles, but he kind of stepped up and really made some good kicks Saturday.
Yeah, Corey made all his extra points and made a field goal for us, Charles. And that's the thing that Corey is capable of doing. Corey, like I said, kickers are very unique, Charles, and they have to have everything straight perfect. The grass can't be too tall, and it can't have too many pellets on the turf and all that stuff. But he did a great job of focusing in on the job at hand, Charles, and did a great job for us this week.
All right, we'll take a break here 51 minutes after the hour. When we come back, we'll hear from Valley head coach Vincent Dancy as we look at the Delta Devils. We'll get to it coming up after this 1-minute timeout here on the Alcorn Football Radio Network. 52 minutes after the hour. We appreciate all the calls, the texts, and tweets that have come in. We can squeeze in a tweet or two. Tall Man Radio, text a question 601-348-7254. All right, let's look at Mississippi Valley, a team that lost a close game to Lamar, lost a 27-20 outing to Tennessee State, and they lost at home in the home opener to Bethune-Cookman 22-6. Valley at one point led 6-2, and all their points came in the first quarter. So Coach Vincent Dancy played his football, obviously a guy that knows the Delta Devils pretty well, a young head coach, probably one of the youngest head coaches you'll see in this conference. His team's playing pretty well, and a tough loss this past Saturday. He talks about that game and talks about this big in-state rival game with the Braves.
Great atmosphere, great home game, first home game for us. Thought the fans did a great job of coming out and supporting the team, but overall, I thought Coach Sims and his staff did a great job of preparing for us. They came in and did some great things defensively, to stop us and slow it down offensively. Thought it was a very, very tough, hard-fought game, physical game all the way, into the last, minute of the game when they scored the last touchdown. Our defense gave up, but overall, I thought it was a well-played game with both teams. But we came
came up short in these. Just talk about what you see in the Braves offense, whether it's Noah Johnson or Felix Harper, and then just the rivalry, the Alcorn Valley rivalry, considering you guys are playing a lot better, and the Braves were a big win at home last week.
I think offensively, they're very efficient. You know, they don't do a whole lot, but what they do, they're really good at. As you can see, they got a kid, and Felix Harper came in and had a great game, man. We had a chance to see him last year. He came in against us last year. And the way this kid has improved from last year to this year, man, it's just a testament of the great coaching that we have, that they have at Alcorn. And Coach McNair is going to have his team ready, man. They're hard playing. They're hard-nosed football team. Defensively, they're big up front. And then they like to stop the run. So we got our hands full this week. This game means everything to us. We call it our state championship, and it's a state championship for a reason. We win this game. It's an Eastern Conference game. It's also a in-state rivalry game. Recruits. It's just a big game for Mississippi Valley State and Alcorn State. So we know what we're up against. We know it's a rivalry game. We know it's an Eastern Conference game, and we're looking to get over the hump this week. So we got to be well prepared for a great football team.
All right, that's Vincent Dancy giving us his thoughts on the game. So, Coach, let's get your thoughts on this Delta Devil team. Very easily could be 3-0. Should have beat Tennessee State. Should have beat Lamar. And kind of offensive struggles against Bethune in their home opener. But this is a young, scrappy team. Their defense, what they gave up, 27, I think 20, and 22. So they're not giving up a lot of points.
They're not charged, and I think Coach Dancy doing a great job with that program. Got a scrappy team. Those guys play with a lot of fire, man. And defensive-wise, they're going to come at you pretty solid and give you a good punch. And we just have to be prepared ourselves, Charles. We have to do everything the right way. It's more about what we do here at Alcorn. And, they're going to have a good, solid team. Like I said, it's their championship. I tell the kids all the time, everybody that come in this place and everybody we play from here on out, it's their swag championship to them. So, we can't let this one slip up. We got to be prepared. We got to get the young men ready to play against a good football program they got up there at Valley. So it's going to be totally up to us and how we play and what we do. Offensive, defensive, special team depends on this outcome of this ball game. So we got to have our A game going, Charles.
Got a young quarterback in Jared Bryant. He was 18 of 34 for 141 yards. He's a guy that's a slippery customer. He can get away from you. He can run the football. He had 59 yards rushing in last week's game against Bethune-Cookman. So you really have to, keep a spy on him, don't you?
Yeah, he's the leading passer and he's also the leading rusher too, Charles. So, he's a little water bug, we call him, and he's going about 5'9" in stature, and he's going to run the ball and whatever he can do to help that team win. So we got to make sure we know where he's at all the time with the ball in his hand. So we got to tackle him to slow him down a little bit. But they're going to come in very fired up on their offense and ready to play against a good, brave football team. We just got to make sure we got an A game going, Charles.
And Valley's defense was able to sack Bethune's quarterback Williams 4 times. So what is it about their defense that concerns you?
Well, they got some good players with it, Charles. They run around a lot and make plays, and that's the thing that we got to be ready for. We've seen a physical ball club in Prairie View this past week, and now we got to see a more agile, fidget ball team in Valley coming in this weekend. They respond very well on the defense side of the ball. So we got to be well disciplined what we do on offense and to be able to attack them on defense.
From the injury standpoint, the question is going to come up again. Felix Harper, Noah Johnson. I guess on Mondays it's really too early to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't put anything on it on Monday, Charles, because I talked to Jaleesa today, and both of the guys took reps, and right now that's all we know as far as now. So just leading up to the rest of the week, we'll know something by Thursday, Friday.
And Mustafa Ibrahim, we got a text in about that. I know he was going to play some snaps this past Saturday. What's his status in getting more?
Yeah, Mustafa, he's coming around. We just have to just be patient with him and in the situation that he's got, and get him to understand, we're going to need him. So he got to be ready to play.
And Rodarius Anderson, still too early on him?
Well, he came out of practice on today, Charles. He caught some pass today, so that's a big step for us. I thought we was going to play him in the game on Saturday, but I think all the guys were doing a great job of doing what they're doing, so we didn't want to re-aggravate it. Just give him some more time off and and get them prepared for this week, hopefully.
And finally, Deshaun Waller. We saw him in street clothes. He got a couple of carries. How's he looking at least at this early juncture?
Well, he did some stuff at practice today, and right now I got to get back with Jalise and see what his status is the rest of this week. See how he's feeling with the contusion that he has.
Got about 30 seconds left, Coach. A game like this, a big rival game, emotion. It was emotional last week. Got to keep that high motor going.
We do, Charles. We got to come out with a lot of fire, man. We got to come out to a fast start, as we did this past week, and carry the mojo on, man. And that's the thing these young men have to understand. And I think they'll be ready for this week and come out and have another exciting ball game.
All right, Coach. We appreciate it. Let's get another one.
I appreciate it, Charles. Go Braves.